Qin Dynasty, 221 to 206 BCE, represents one of the most transformative periods in Chinese history, primarily due to its unification of the various warring states into a single empire under Qin Shi Huang. Central to the Qin dynasty's governance was the implementation of legalism, a philosophy advocating strict laws, centralized authority, and severe punishments to maintain social order. Legalism, in the context of the Qin state, became synonymous with harsh authoritarian rule and provided the ideological foundation for the empire's unprecedented centralization and administrative uniformity. This system not only unified China politically, but also set a precedent for governance strategies that influenced subsequent dynasties. Origins of legalism. Legalism emerged during the Warring States period, 475 to 221 BCE, as a response to the chronic disorder and warfare among Chinese states. While Confucianism emphasized moral virtue and ritual propriety as a basis for governance, legalism proposed that human nature is inherently selfish and short-sighted. Consequently, rulers could not rely solely on morality or benevolence to maintain order. Instead, the state required clear laws, rigorous enforcement, and strict penalties to control behavior. Thinkers like Shang Yang, c. 390 to 338 BCE, Han Fei, 280 to 233 BCE, and Li Si, c. 280 to 208 BCE, were the primary architects of legalist thought, offering a coherent framework for political centralization and administrative efficiency. Among these, Shang Yang's reforms in the state of Qin laid the groundwork for the Qin dynasty's adoption of legalism on a grand scale. Qin Shi Huang and the legalist state. Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, used legalist principles to consolidate power after defeating the rival states. Legalism under the Qin emphasized three major principles: centralization of authority, uniformity of law, and strict enforcement through severe punishment. Each of these was crucial in transforming the Qin from a regional power into a highly centralized empire. 1. Centralization of authority. Under legalism, the emperor wielded absolute power, with authority extending over both civil and military matters. Local nobility and feudal lords who traditionally exercised regional autonomy were either eliminated or subordinated to centrally appointed officials. This restructuring enabled the Qin state to reduce the influence of hereditary aristocracy, thereby minimizing internal opposition and ensuring that all officials were directly accountable to the emperor. 2. Uniformity of law. Legalist philosophy stressed codified laws that applied equally to all members of society, regardless of status. Qin Shi Huang commissioned the standardization of legal codes, weights and measures, currency, and even writing scripts. Such uniformity not only facilitated efficient administration, but also reinforced the idea that obedience to law, rather than personal loyalty to a ruler or local custom, was the cornerstone of social order. The laws themselves were deliberately clear, concise, and absolute, leaving little room for personal interpretation. Number 3. Severe punishment. Perhaps the most infamous aspect of Qin legalism was its reliance on harsh punishments to enforce compliance. Crimes, even minor ones, were met with strict penalties, ranging from corporal punishment to execution. The principle of collective responsibility was also enforced, whereby entire families or communities could be punished for the misdeeds of an individual. This created a climate of fear, compelling subjects to adhere strictly to the law. While extreme by modern standards, these measures effectively maintained order in a newly unified and diverse empire. Tash, legalist reforms and administration. The Qin dynasty implemented several specific reforms reflecting legalist ideology. Abolition of feudal states. The emperor replaced hereditary nobles with appointed bureaucrats, ensuring loyalty to the central authority. Standardization. By standardizing currency, weights, measures, and the written script, the Qin reduced regional disparities and simplified trade and communication across the empire. Census and taxation. A comprehensive census allowed precise taxation and conscription, supporting both economic and military objectives. Military conscription and control. Legalist principles extended to military service, mandating strict discipline and severe penalties for insubordination. Centralized legal system. The Qin codified laws, creating detailed statutes that left little room for discretionary judgment, reinforcing uniform justice. The implementation of these reforms was largely administered by Li Si, a prominent legalist advisor. Li Si's writings, especially the Book of Lord Shang and his treatises on governance, influenced not only Qin policies but also subsequent Chinese administrative thought, social and cultural impact. While legalism enabled rapid state building and administrative efficiency, it came at a profound human cost. The harshness of the Qin regime fostered widespread resentment among the population. Intellectuals and scholars, particularly Confucian thinkers, were persecuted. Famously, in 213 BCE, Qin Shi Huang ordered the burning of books and burying of scholars, aiming to suppress dissenting ideas that could challenge legalist orthodoxy. Although controversial, this act highlights the regime's commitment to ideological uniformity as a means of consolidating power. Additionally, the use of fear and punitive measures created social stability but limited personal freedoms and innovation. People were incentivized to obey laws but discouraged from moral reasoning or political debate, reflecting legalist skepticism of human virtue. Despite this, legalism contributed to the development of infrastructure, including the construction of roads, canals, and fortifications, such as the early Great Wall, which enhanced state control and defense. Tash, decline of Qin legalism. The rigidity of legalist policies also contributed to the Qin dynasty's short lifespan. After Qin Shi Huang's death in 210 BCE, the lack of institutionalized succession planning and continued harsh enforcement fueled rebellion. Heavy taxation, forced labor for massive construction projects, and severe punishments alienated the population, leading to uprisings such as the Daizhexiang Uprising in 209 BCE. Within a few years, the Qin dynasty collapsed, giving way to the Han dynasty, which tempered legalist principles with Confucian ideology to create a more sustainable governance model. Legacy of Qin legalism. Despite its brevity, Qin legalism left a lasting impact on Chinese political thought. It demonstrated the effectiveness of centralized authority, codified laws, and bureaucratic administration in maintaining a large empire. Subsequent dynasties, particularly the Han, adopted a hybrid system, combining Confucian moral guidance with legalist administrative techniques. The Qin example also influenced the perception of law as a tool for social control, setting enduring patterns in Chinese statecraft. Legalism under the Qin dynasty remains a classic case study of authoritarian governance. It achieved rapid unification and control, but relied on fear and repression, revealing the trade-offs between efficiency and societal well-being. The Qin experience illustrates that while harsh laws can maintain order in the short term, long-term stability requires balancing legal enforcement with moral legitimacy and popular support. References: 1. Lewis, M.E., 2007, The Early Chinese Empires, Qin and Han, Harvard University Press. 2. Lo M., 1999, The Government of Qin and Han China, Routledge. 3. Creel H.G., 1970, Legalist Thought in Chinese History, University of Chicago Press. 4. Ebry, P.B., 2010, The Cambridge Illustrated History of China, Cambridge University Press. 5. Pines, Y., 2002, Envisioning Eternal Empire, Chinese Political Thought of the Warring States Era, University of Hawaii Press. 6. Sima Chan, 1993, Records of the Grand Historian Shiji, translated by Burton Watson, Columbia University Press. 7. Body, D. and Morris, C. 1967, Law in Imperial China, exemplified by 190 Qing Dynasty cases, Harvard University Press.